I would love for Theo to punch me in the face and just step on me and, do whatever he wants. Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to the channel. My name is Farah, I'm the head writer, and today with me in my rewriters room I have Bianca and I have Lindsey. Thank you so much for joining me. I want to give some background on how this series came about. I think whatever day the White Lotus season 2 finale aired, maybe it was like the 11th, something like that. Because White Lotus is a show that you want to theorize about, there are so many different elements and dynamics to come into play. I feel like I came up with so many different theories, and there were so many things that by the end hadn't happened that I would really have liked to see happen. So it truly came to me as if in a vision that I wanted to do something like get a bunch of friends who I know enjoy White Lotus together and talk about the theories that we had, the ways that it would have been different if we were to have written it, and just talk about the whatever off the wall things we could have seen in this season that did not come to fruition. So that's kind of what this series is going to be called the Rewriters Room, and I'm really excited because it's not something that I'm going to have to script, because media criticism scripting process is so much, and I get to kind of offload some of that work onto other people who are already doing it, who are already thinking about these things, and I get to share my friends with my channel. So yes, let's get started. I have an agenda for us. I'm going to share my screen and we can get into it. I also will mention one of our writers was not able to make it, Paris. I will be reading some of her notes and weaving them in throughout, however, so shout out to Paris. All right, and now let me know, can you guys see?
Yes.
Okay.
We're good.
So our structure is going to be that we're going to reflect on season 1 if we have any thoughts lingering about that. We're going to do our highlights and lowlights of the season, and just any unpacking we still want to do, things that aren't necessarily rewrites that we have, but that we just want to talk about. And then we'll get into our rewrites. We'll talk about each character, what we would have done with them, things that we would have liked to see, just interesting things that didn't happen in the show. And then we'll go over our overall thoughts, and then we'll talk about season 3 looking forward, because Mike White did say some things about what he wants to explore in the next season. So let's talk about season 1. How do you all feel about season 1 compared to season 2? Because I feel like the show really found its stride in season 2. At first I did see a lot of people saying oh, this season is so slow, I liked season 1 better, but to me I think season 2 got so many more things right. I think season 1 had some memorable moments, maybe Grandpa was a power bottom stands out to me. Rachel getting ripped to shreds by her idol, analingus in the workplace. We had beats from season 1 that I remember. I think it was somewhat out of its depth, because it was mainly a critique on wealth, and it took place in Hawaii with a bunch of I'm assuming wealthy white actors coming to Hawaii to film in a time where Native Hawaiians are do not come. So it's you're making this criticism, but you're also contributing to that thing that you're criticizing. So I think there were some ethically dubious aspects of season 1 for sure. Yeah, what do you guys think about season 1 versus season 2?
I definitely think I enjoyed season 2 a lot more than season 1.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of the hype of season 1 that I was like, okay, I'm ready for season 2. I was really interested in the cast choices of season 2.
Yes.
A lot more than season 1.
I have to agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aubrey Plaza, I was like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah. Really, I was
I'm
season 1. I only watched it because you, Bianca, and Michaela told me to watch it. I was not checking for the White Lotus, and I didn't know if I was gonna watch season 2 until I saw who was cast. I was like, oh, Aubrey Plaza, Theo James. Okay, I'm gonna be seated.
No, literally.
And I think this cast just had so much more chemistry with one another. It was a lot more engaging to watch, I feel.
I agree.
And if we're gonna talk about engaging to watch. The color grading of season 1, like I went back to see, like, should I rewatch season 1? It is so yellow. I truly don't think I noticed that when I was watching originally. I like, people have been pointing it out now, but I never noticed that when I was watching the first time. I was like, thank God they didn't do the same color grading with season 2 because it's distracting. Yeah.
I also really enjoyed the backdrop of Sicily.
Yes.
That also intrigued me more about this season because yes, the whole ethics of it all when it comes to Hawaii, when it comes to like trying to make a commentary on wealth, it's like, okay, well, all right, but Sicily.
Now you have my attention. Like, go.
And it's
Yes.
just pretty, and it's just like, okay, I'm in.
Exactly. And yeah, I think another thing about this season is that the commentary on wealth is still there, but it's more in the backdrop. Like, there's a commentary about wealth, obviously, because almost all of the characters are like wealthy, and we're supposed to read into it that like, oh, you can't really be a good person when you're just exorbitantly rich. But this season also had the through line of like masculinity and sexuality. So I really liked that we had that tying the story together, and it wasn't just like hinging on this commentary of wealth at all times. I think that's something that worked really well about this season.
Definitely.
And yeah, I agree. Like, now I want to go to Italy because the shots of Sicily were just so beautiful. Yeah, they weren't like occupying any people of color's land, so I
love that.
Yeah, we do love that. So, but I mean, we'll talk about this at the end, but it seems like Mike White is maybe not learning a lesson from this, and he's gonna go back where we came from, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
All right, so let's talk about our highlights and lowlights of the season. Do you all have any highlights and lowlights that come to mind, or anything that you still want to unpack? I think I have one thing. So do you remember those like heads? I don't know if they're like porcelain, but the Testa de Moro heads. And then we heard this story about them representing a curse about this Moor who cheated. Like, he seduced this local girl and then got his head cut off because he had a wife and children. So many of the transition shots were like close-ups of the Testa de Moro head, which I feel like, as a viewer, that signals to me like, okay, you're gonna see someone get punished for infidelity. There's this curse, like, this is going to be important. With how many times they showed those heads, I was like, this is gonna be important. But in the end, like, maybe you could argue that it was a white or a red herring, but like nothing ever came out of that. I feel like it got broken in the last episode when Harper and Ethan were, doing their thing.
Yeah.
But I was like, what does that signify? Like, I could see this focus on these different, like, these Testa de Moro heads making sense as like transition pieces for the season if something had happened, like when Dom told Lucia that like they can't see each other anymore this week, even though maybe she was counting on that money. If she had like killed him, and then we'd be like, okay, there goes the curse, because the curse, like, the man doing all this infidelity got whacked, so we know what that meant. But that didn't happen. Cameron didn't die, so it's like, what did that end up meaning? I want to read some articles about that, because I'm like, was it just to throw us off who was actually gonna die? I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's interesting, and we'll probably get into this, but I also think that, like, it wasn't only the men who were trying to initiate the infidelities. Like, it was like mostly them. But then I think about that scene with Daphne and what is his name? Oh my God. Ethan. And I know they did something sus. And so she's really the one who prodded him and like essentially said, like, if your partner does something, then you get to do it back. And I feel like something went down between them. And so, like, I don't know if the breaking of because I noticed the breaking of the sculpture, sorry, I don't know what it's called, but
Testa de Moro.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I noticed that too when Ethan and Aubrey Paz's character were finally, getting into it. And it was
Getting it on.
I almost felt like they needed that infidelity to happen because Mike White explains and like post credits that like whatever went down, it allowed him to let go of all the jealousy that he had before and like see his wife in a new light. And so I'm like, was it the infidelity that like saved that? It sounds toxic to me, but I'm like, it's an idea.
That's something I want to talk about too, because when Mike White said that, I was like, is that the message?
No, I know.
Everything's fine now.
Right. It was a dash of stepping out on your spouse. Yeah, that's something I have something about that in my notes because I was like, Mike White, is that
what's the lesson here?
I know.
Yeah. But any other, I'm trying to think of like some of my favorite things about this season. I really liked all of Lucia's outfits. She
stunning.
always looked good. We cannot say the same for Mia nor Portia.
Portia needs help. I'm sorry. Who set her up? And you know what's sad? She seems like a wonderful human being, but some of those pieces were from her personal closet.
Yes. Okay. I will go to bat for, I think her name is Haley Lou Richards.
Yeah.
Something like that. Richardson. I will go to bat for Haley Lou because she said the things that she said were hers. She crocheted that one like crochet bucket hat, and she said the Levi's cutoff shorts. I don't think any of the like staggeringly ugly things she wore were from her closet, to be fair. But yeah, you couldn't have waterboarded that out of me. Oh, no.
No, literally. That last number that she wore where she was trying to be inconspicuous at the airport, but she was wearing like a hat with a scarf. I said, girl,
what was going on? What was going on?
That was no. Yeah. Why did she wrap the scarf around?
No, she was unwell. Like,
her baseball cap. And then she had the nerve to go up to me and talk. I was like, if I were ever, for whatever reason, in a fit like this, the last thing I would want to do is engage in conversation. Absolutely not. That was really bad. I do think Mia, honestly, hot take, I think Mia beat her out for worst outfits in the end.
No, I agree. I agree.
What was she ever wearing?
And the eyeshadow was not giving.
She had this aluminum foil number.
Oh yeah, and that wasn't even the worst of her crimes. That's the crazy part.
Oh yeah, she was not slaying. I'm sorry, Mia.
Girl. No. And I was like, Lucia is serving almost every time.
Every single time.
There was like one outfit where I was like, but I think it was like a swimsuit cover-up, so I guess she gets a pass. I was like, why aren't you helping your friends?
We have to support each other.
Yeah, we have to do better by our friends.
Right.
But back to Portia, one of my highlights for the season was like, I think she had a phone call with Tanya and she was like, the gays are taking us to Palermo. And she was like, you're gonna need some cute things. Do you have cute things? And Portia was like, yeah. And she was like, are you sure? That was a highlight for me. I was like, finally, I was like, are we going to get in the text of the season
literally
commentary on what Portia's wearing? And we did.
And I have to say, a highlight for me is her confronting, what is his name? The British.
Jack?
It's Jack. Okay. Her confronting him in the car, and her iconic line, "So you F your uncle?"
Oh my god! I said, girl,
why not take it
out today?
Yeah. Okay. I would have. If I were her, I would have brought that up much earlier or much later, because she said it at like the beginning of their car ride, right? I was like, Portia doesn't ever make a single right decision.
She doesn't make good decisions.
No, I was like, so you want to die? Like that's what it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She exhibited no survival instinct at any point in this season.
Oh my god! Wait, another highlight is Tanya getting her tarot cards read.
Oh yes.
All negative, and
she's just throwing the woman out. Yeah, she was like, "This is so negative," as if somehow she thought that the agreement they were coming to was for her to just say all nice things, and not tell her fortune,
for her to be validated. Yes.
Yeah,
that was a good moment.
Yeah, I agree.
God.
I'm trying to think of the lowlights. I will say this, I mean, I'm gonna bring it up when we get to the characters, but I wish that they had more for the grandfather to do. Like,
Yeah.
nothing all his character ever did was sexually harass any woman in the room. Like, I thought he was gonna be involved more in the drama, but he wasn't.
Mhm.
And I would have liked to see that, because I
Mhm.
don't like, last season there were no characters of a certain age. This season we had like one, and he didn't get to do much.
I agree.
That's fair.
I thought
Yeah.
it would have been interesting. This is a little late for me, just because I wanted to die watching it. The scene where this is the episode where Portia's like, actually, I've decided I'm gonna try and make things work with this random man I've met on vacation.
Mhm.
Albie, let's hang out. And then she ends up at the beach club with Jack, and then Albie comes up to the beach club and is trying to like introduce himself. Portia's just like, oh, clearly talking to Jack and no one else. I think I have to stay with my boss a little longer, but I'll meet you. I was like, I this is crazy.
Yeah.
That was hard.
invite him to stay. Like, you don't
Mhm.
have to choose, Portia.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Quite
But
honestly.
that was very rude. I was like, and for the guy with the Essex accent,
No, I know. For
that's
what?
wild. That's wild to me.
And we do have to talk about that. That had to
You
be said.
come to Italy to hook up with a guy with an Essex accent.
Nah, literally.
Portia,
I was like,
decisions.
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, this
Oh
is
yes.
biggest spoiler of the whole
Yeah.
season, but Tanya's untimely
oh,
and quite so sad. So it just really hurt. That
You know,
hurt
we
me.
were rooting for her. I said, take the stairs, please.
Jump in the water, girl. Jump
there
in
were
the
so many
water.
solutions, because she somehow, with her eyes closed, had dispatched any imminent threat.
Oh my God. She says,
And
bam, bam,
still,
bam, bam, bam.
I was like, we're doing this with our eyes closed?
No, literally.
Why? Why do we have to do this?
We don't, and we didn't. We didn't.
And she could have just waited for help to come. She could have
just
there's
sat
so many
there.
things. Like, I don't know. And then, okay, this is something I wouldn't change. Her last, like, the thing she says to the man who is bleeding out before her
Oh my
is,
God.
"It's my husband having an affair."
I said, this woman is so dumb.
Yeah.
She is
She's
incredible.
dumb.
I was like, and that is perfect, because just like that is every bit of her obliviousness as a character,
Yeah.
just in one line. There is an elaborate plot to kill you off, and your quandary is whether or not your husband is cheating on you. He wants you dead, girl. He wants you dead.
No, literally.
But all I had to do was think about how she did Belinda in season 1, and then I made my peace with her fate.
That is fair. That is fair.
Because Belinda didn't deserve to be taken for that ride.
That's true.
That was a good lady.
She did not. Oh my God.
Yeah. But if we don't have any other highlights and lowlights, I think we can move on to our rewrites for the season. I'm very excited.
I'm ready. Okay.
So for our characters, we're gonna start with Bert, because like I said, he didn't do a whole lot. Like, he was there primarily to, I guess, demonstrate this kind of very old school masculinity, where it's like, you can call young women whatever. He was like, sweetheart, whatever. Like, when he talked to Isabella and he was like, she said she was from Milan or something, and he was like, you do have a northern look, beautiful hazel eyes, and whatever, talking about her teeth. And I was like, is she a horse? Like, that was the model of masculinity he was there to represent, but very little else.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have liked to see him involved somehow in the chaos of things.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
And I think one way that this could have happened, this is a series of events that I think also has to do with Albie and Dom, and could have also accomplished a message about masculinity. So if you recall, Portia had said something to Albie about how like he can be more aggressive, because he was like he was so like he was really congratulating himself for not going into her room whatever night he has to kiss her. He was like, you know, I wanted to go in your and she was like, you should have, like she was like,
Right.
you can be more aggressive. So, and a lot of people did theorize that like at some point Albie was going to snap, and I was like, no, it's giving spineless. I don't think he's capable of snapping, and I think the ending of the series proves that to be the case. Like he doesn't seem all that bad that he got played for 50K.
Yeah.
So, but what I think could have been interesting, like he takes Portia's advice about being more aggressive. They're like up in the room, whatever, and maybe like he puts her up on the balcony. She falls backwards to her death, and now I'll be the woman protector. I'll be the feminist. He has to work with his misogynist daddy and granddaddy to cover up what he has done.
Yo.
Justice for Portia. No. Oh my
I feel like that could have been interesting. They went a completely different direction than I was thinking. But like from the beginning, I was wondering, like, is Portia going to get hurt and regret saying all this about like, you could be more aggressive? Like she clearly wanted a toxically masculine man. And maybe, I mean, in the end, she did get it. So maybe they still made that point in one way or another. But that's something that I think could have been interesting to do with the grandfather. What do you all have any thoughts about his storyline? Anything that could have been different with him?
See, my main thought with him, the thing I wrote was like boring.
Yeah.
Because when I thought about him, I'm like, yeah, like he does showcase, he is what he's meant to be. I get that. However, like, what was he doing?
What?
He could have been doing more.
Literally falling down, getting injured.
Yeah.
Hell, oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
But like, what was he doing? Yeah.
I thought there was gonna be some big reckoning where he blurts out that Lucia was intimate with both the dad and the son. That never happened.
No.
And I was like, I assume it was intentional to show like at the end of the day, like they're gonna have each other's backs in their own like male code of like you can sleep with anyone you want and whatever. Because essentially you learn this from me. But I just wanted there to be this huge reckoning, and it didn't happen.
Yeah. Albie never finds out that his girl was his daddy's girl first. And I don't know. I would have liked to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote that down too. I was like, there should have been something there. He should have known. He should have found out somehow.
Yeah. And there's never any like, I guess who would do it, but there's also never any pushback when Albie like gets ready to trade $50,000 like to essentially pimp out his mom by saying like, I'll work on her for you if you let me give this girl I just met $50,000.
I was gonna strangle that man.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, so that's 50,000. That's the price for you to encourage your mother to stay with a serial cheater. Okay, cool.
No, literally. How dirty is that? How dirty is that?
They're all the same.
Yeah, and they are.
Which is evidenced by that last scene. The very like last scene that all three of them are in, when that like one girl walks by and they all break their necks to look at her, and it's like, oh, we've learned nothing. we have gone no distance. And I think that's something Paris mentioned too. She says all the men continue to suck. The family of men learned 0 lessons. Truly incredible. Yeah, could not have said it better.
No character development whatsoever.
I was like, Dom, we just spent $50,000 to maybe get our wife back, and in front of your father and son, you're ogling a woman who generously 30 years your junior. It's so evil to me.
I have a question for you guys. I felt like the whole $50,000 thing was too, it was it was a bit far-fetched for me. I was like, he can't be that stupid.
Yeah.
He cannot be that dumb.
Honestly, I wish we had gotten some like figures, like how much is Dominic really worth? Because 50,000 to someone, they said he like works in Hollywood, could truly be nothing for him.
Right.
That's
in which
fair.
case I could see that. But yeah, I was like he moved quickly. It felt
Right.
like the night before he decided, and then the next day it was check your bank account, which by the way, check your bank account. I need him.
No, it's very simple. I'm not asking for much.
Just
Check your
50,000 in my
account.
bank account.
It's in there. You're good.
Like, I want to know who came up with that number. I'm sure it was not her.
No, you're right. And I was thinking like that comment, and we'll get to this when we get to this man, but that comment he makes when he's like, I like wounded little birds.
Oh gosh.
Haunts me at night. That haunts me.
Yeah. Yeah.
God forbid.
That has everything to do with it, because he's like, oh, I can save her from this life.
Yeah.
I can take her away from here.
I was thinking, he's gonna buy her a ticket to LA, like all this stuff.
Right. I was like, oh,
money.
she's gonna come be his little wife in
It's
LA.
not making sense to me. I was like, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It's also like, yeah, I mean, because it seemed like I think he like groaned or something when he heard the door close behind Lucia when she left. I was like, did he have no other way of contacting her? Because it seemed like we were supposed to get from that scene that like he knew she was gone for good.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure like how did he have her banking information?
Maybe
Maybe
you're
about that.
It's not adding up. I'm sorry, it's not.
It's not adding up. It's just not.
Yeah, that was very curious to me. Maybe that was just really to show how just naive and how truly he is a mark, just like his father said.
Damn.
But I did kind of like that he was fine with it. He was like, oh, I got played.
Yeah. He was like, anyway.
Yeah.
Changed.
But do we have anything about Dom's storyline before we can really dive into Albie? I'm trying to think. Like, he also didn't do a whole lot other than like cheat with the working girls.
Yeah.
And then watch his son with one of the working girls. Oh, he talked on the phone to his wife, Laura Dern. Oh my gosh, what a performance! I was hoping we would see her like on screen, but it's okay.
She screeched and it was amazing.
Yes, I was like, oh my gosh, she is not playing around
at all.
Here to act, and act she did. And it's so crazy. Like, I feel like every time, maybe we only saw it a couple times, but like she was on the phone furious, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'll tell you how the trip goes." I was like, "Sir, you, in your heart of hearts, you must know this woman is done and tired of you."
Over it, completely over it.
Yeah, as she should be.
Like at some
the
point,
little we've seen.
At some point, the show makes this commentary on like sex addicts. And how he could be a sex addict. And I don't know how I feel about that. They didn't really dive into that more.
They didn't. I feel like he said like, sorry, I've got to change. He said he was struggling with sex addiction, and that was kind of like the end of it.
Like,
so I don't know.
You're actually also just a misogynist. There's a lot going on with you. Yeah. It's not just about sex.
He was like explicitly into young women. Like, it wasn't just like, I want to be intimate with whatever I see. It was like he would specifically look for young women. So I feel like that was another aspect that he shared with his father. And there was that conversation that they had where he was like, I got this from you. And I was like, I don't know. Like, yes, but also like you have to take responsibility for the fact that like your actions did end your marriage and haven't changed.
Yeah. And I feel like I do think they showcase like he was trying to buy his way out of his predicament. Like he went to whatever expensive store and tried to buy her like jewelry and stuff, and also buy off his daughter who was not on his side. So I thought that was like evidence that he learned nothing, because he's not actually trying to make a change. He's more trying to like buy his way out so he kind of doesn't have to hear about it anymore. And blaming his father for what he did. And I think they did strike a good balance between like, obviously you, dad, did not model for me a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
But also, like, I think he did say, like, I'm not blaming you for my situation, but I could. And I think that that's true because his father is like convinced that he and his wife had a perfect relationship. She would have never like left him regardless. He said something like he could burn down the house and she would stay with him, which is like awful. And it's awful that he thinks that that's okay to say in public.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, I don't know, I liked the moments where we got Dom and his father representing some more overt flaws in how masculinity has historically been constructed. But I also feel like maybe he wasn't in the mix enough.
Yeah.
Like the end of the first episode, I was gagged. But after that, I was not really surprised with the way that character went necessarily. And there was really not much of a fight put up when his son asked for the 50K.
I know. He was like, anyway, pocket change.
Right. He was like, you'll talk to your mother? All right, I guess.
Yep.
All right, well, yeah, I don't really have that much more to say about Dom because there's not much to say. So let's talk about Albie. Let's do it because I'm upset. From episode 1, I was like, oh my gosh, they have Zendaya's stepbrother from Zapped in here. They have the Radio Rebel boy.
Literally,
I was thinking Radio Rebel.
Yeah,
he was the Radio Rebel.
Yeah,
Like.
he's Radio Rebel.
Crying. He should have stayed there.
I was like, okay, you know, I tuned in for Theo James, but you're the prize. And I thought that from episode 1, but then literally episode 2, oh, I found that girls find a nice guy and they're not really interested. And I like pretty wounded birds after Portia said something about increasing her dosage of like antidepressants or whatever. I said, that's
no.
That pairing was made to torture us.
And it did.
I had to take a lap each episode. I was like, this can't be.
Every scene with them two, it was like the most awkward thing. And it's like, why did they try so hard to, Albie especially, to make it work?
Mm-hmm.
As if there aren't tens of guests at this hotel.
Tens.
I assume.
Yeah.
Like,
it's that like nice guy complex.
I was like, not you.
No. I don't know. He's just attracted to the wounded. He's just he's just a savior. He's just a nice guy at heart. You know, can't turn it off.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like, speaking of can't turn it off, maybe this, I don't know if I would rewrite this, but let me know what you guys think, because that speech that Albie gave about they were at like one of the sites where The Godfather was filmed, and he was giving a speech about the unrealistic male fantasy of like a man sleeping with every woman and coming home to his wife who doesn't ask questions. And I would write that out, maybe. I'm thinking, not because he's wrong, because I think he was exactly right. It was just annoying. And I think he doesn't know Portia like I know Portia. She's not about that feminist, like, foolish. She doesn't mess with that. She wants a toxic man.
Get her bag, period.
Yeah. And I wonder, like, how much of him, I can't really decide how much of him was like saying that exclusively because Portia was there and he wants to impress her. Unbeknownst to him, that's like the opposite of what he was doing. Or if he just like actually something in him is fulfilled by believing he's more enlightened than the other men in his life somehow. Because I do feel like there were scenes where Portia wasn't there and he would call out his father and grandfather for being gross, but like I
still think it was very performative, because at the end of the day, like, he was like, in theory, this is what I believe, but in practice, like, he still ogled at the woman at the airport. He still did that thing where it's like, I'm gonna save Lucia. Like,
the savior complex
did not and he sold his mom. He bargained his mom. Like,
yes,
It's in theory, he was a good guy. He was a feminist, but in practice, he was the same as his entire male bloodline.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm really like undecided about whether I would write that out because like first why would you say that? just like clearly your father and grandfather are not going to be receptive to it. What does Portia say to that? Does she just say, "Yup, I'm alone with these three men I don't really know. Yup, I'm gonna be agreeing that the two elders are like completely wrong." Because then the father was like, "Oh no, this is a natural. We're programmed that way,"
Yeah.
which was also like, okay, please, not in mixed company. I don't know.
No, I totally agree because I'm like, it just made everything uncomfortable.
Yeah.
She is a stranger. You don't
Yeah.
know her.
And if he did, he wouldn't have said it because like Portia's
Oh,
not about that feminist business.
it's just
She has beef with non-binary people for some
Right.
reason.
Right.
And I don't, that's another thing. We're not on Portia, but I might write that out too because I still don't understand what the point we were supposed to get from that was. Like, why would you say that? But I don't know. Maybe they were trying to like flesh out her characterization by saying like she actually is opposed to social consciousness because like she had these speeches about like I just want to like be in a relationship with someone who doesn't have any screens, who doesn't know about the discourse. And so Albie was like, "Oh, a caveman."
Right.
So maybe
yeah.
that was like supposed to further let us know like Portia's not really for the people. Portia's for Portia. I don't know. But that felt like it came out of nowhere.
No, I agree. And definitely performative. I agree with like both of you because
Yeah.
he was trying, I mean, he's trying to just show her that he's trying to show her that I don't even know. Like, I'm your husband. I don't
Right, like
understand what.
if you're trying to have a vacation fling, does she need to know that you believe in intersectional feminism?
So, like,
I don't know.
no. Like,
Yeah, that's
literally
fair.
no.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The other
Yeah.
thing I wanted to bring up was like, what did you guys think about the way that Albie handled finding out that Lucia was a sex worker? And like, I think his reaction, I can't tell if it was performative or not because at the end of the day, he did try to save her. And I think his reaction would have changed if he found out that his dad was also intimate with Lucia. Like, it was too good to be true.
I think if he had found out his father had been with her, he would have left that girl right where she was at.
Right.
So
No, definitely.
I feel like I think it was his savior complex. Like because the second he found out and like he was talking with his dad and grandfather about it and he was like, I'm sure you two have like run around with escorts, and then he said something like, she probably doesn't even want to be doing this, she probably is really poor and like forced into it. And also I mean Lucia contributed to that by constructing this whole thing about a pimp which was not true, as she should to secure that bag. I'm on her side. But like we know that that's not true because in episode like 1 she tells Mia she got into this because a man offered to pay her however many euros for feet pics and she was like, I can make some money.
Right.
So it's like he's making a lot of assumptions, and I think maybe his dad's or his grandfather says this, but they make the good point like women are just like us, they're not like perfect angels, they do, you know, things that like are considered whatever taboo or like inappropriate, bad ethically, just like men do. And so I think Albie still hasn't maybe come to that conclusion yet. Maybe by the end he has after getting played. So maybe in the grand scheme of things it did him some good because it seems I was pleasantly surprised he didn't seem like angry, upset. It didn't seem to mean a whole lot to him, and I thought that interaction was very funny because he was like talking to Portia, he was like, so how did things go with that guy? And she was like, oh, he's deranged. I didn't know she would say all that. But I'm glad she knows, and it's interesting that she chose to tell him that. And then she's like, oh, what about that girl? And he's like, oh, she played me. So he's like, he's honest about it, he's not upset. I don't know, that was I kind of liked that.
No, I think that's fair. Like I also think that because of the performance she put on, because she made him think that like, oh, I'm into you, like you don't have to pay. You don't have
Yeah.
to say, like, I like you. That also made him feel special. That made him feel
Right.
like, oh, like, sure, like she's a sex worker or whatever, but like for me, she's like
Right.
my girl. She's
Yeah. I'm
like,
different.
I'm
These
different.
3 days, I have locked it down.
She wants to come with me. I'm gonna save her from this life, you
Mhm.
know? And that, the way he reacted, I think it makes sense with that too. Like,
Mhm.
he,
Maybe he still feels something for her.
yeah, and that the fact that at least he thinks that she feels something for him
Mhm.
changes things.
Yeah.
Changes things for him.
That's very interesting. Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Like maybe he's not upset because he still feels like a woman wouldn't do me wrong on purpose. I don't know.
Interesting.
Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows?
I have a suggestion for a rewrite involving Albie. Okay.
Okay,
So
let's hear it.
I think it's episode 4 whenever Albie moves, like Portia and Albie do the switch where like she moves on to Jack and he moves on to Lucia. So instead of that happening, I'm at the White Lotus. Stay with me. Stay with me.
Canceled. You're canceled. You're
Albie
canceled.
beats me. And I figure out he has this nice guy complex. And I just talk to him for about 30 minutes. I fix him, right?
Huh? I'm with you. I'm with you.
What do we think? Thoughts?
It's your big break. I'm here for it.
Oh,
I'm here for
they
it.
should put me in. But
Yeah.
for real, the thing about Albie is like I feel like I could fix him, but even if I can't, I know that I could rob him. So it's a win-win. And
That's true.
that's what I love about it.
Right.
Yeah, they need you in. They need you in there. They need to go ahead and put you in because you would solve a lot of issues.
I
Even-
feel like I could. Like, and we can move on to Portia too because, or wait, no, she's not next on the list. But I'll just say this. The scene where like it looked like she was so bothered after he had asked to kiss her, and she seemed so upset that, or so weirded out that he wasn't trying to do more. Portia, speak up.
No, literally.
Yeah,
You
literally.
can have what you want if you
Literally.
ask for it, but all she wanted to do was complain and like act like everybody else was the weird one when you are just you are not.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to that when we talk about Portia. Let's go to next on our list is Lucia. I don't know. She was kind of everything. My North Star this season. I was on her side no matter what. I wanted to mention because I was rewatching with one of my friends who hasn't seen it yet, and like in episode 1, the guy that she pretended was her pimp, I think his name was Alessio. She and Mia pass him and they like wave. You can tell it's her. Like, there was no way you would have known because like we don't know people's names and faces yet. But he was in episode 1, so
That is so crazy.
yes. So Mike White, like I'll give you your point for that. Like that was set up and knocked down. But I'm just like obsessed. She always looked cute. Like the red dress,
Always.
the
Girl.
world stopped.
She was
Ooh.
Stopped.
She did her thing. She
Yeah,
did her thing.
Yeah. And her hair with the little flip.
The
I was just here for all
I
of
think
it.
It's doing like it's retro, but it's chic. It's
Yes.
wow.
And I don't know. She did everything right. She
She did that. She did.
Dom said he wasn't gonna fund her the rest of the week. She went and got his son to give her 50K, which I guess back on Albie, if he did think he was trying to change her life, did he think 50K was gonna do it? I don't know, because she's gonna need more money in a few months if we're being real. But yeah, Lucia. I don't know if I would. Oh, maybe here's the thing I would rewrite. So, I think it's episode 1, she and Mia are trying to like sneak onto the grounds to go see her client who was revealed to be Dom. If I were writing this, I don't think Lucia and Mia would have taken the route where they started like yelling at Valentina and saying like, oh, no one would ever pay to have sex with you. If it was me, if I was Lucia, I would have clocked everything Valentina had going on and I would have been trying to give her a kiss. Like, we didn't have to like yell at the person who we need access from. I feel like they could have.
She was too mean.
Yeah, it was too much at her place of business just for them to turn around and end up, I guess, where they would have been anyway. But like, if you ever want to be around those parts again, it's in your best interest to be working with some honey instead of vinegar.
I agree.
That's what I think. Yeah, do we have any other thoughts on Lucia? I don't know. I feel like everything was executed perfectly with her storyline, at least.
Yeah.
Everything. No, I loved her from the minute she stepped on the screen to the minute she left.
Oh, she was perfect. And like in
notes.
episode 1, the part where like everyone's coming off the boat and she just has her lollipop and she's just openly gawking at everyone who walks by. She's the moment. I love her. That's my sister.
Oh my god! And the way that every time she got paid, she went straight to Louis. She went straight like.
Oh
she
yes,
knew what she wanted.
She was investing back into her business. Which is herself.
It's very simple.
Yes,
very simple.
But she was not investing in Mia. Yikes,
No, she
that
was
girl.
not.
No.
Was not.
And that actually brings me, so maybe something I would have written for Lucia. She should have gotten the money up front, but she could not.
What?
Every case she got paid after.
Oh,
no, you're right. You're right.
She was letting Cam stress her out.
I was scared. I was like, I
scared
this man has money.
He's good for it. He can back.
Okay.
That's what he would have you believe, but I don't know. I would have liked to see that explored more. But yeah, we can move on from Lucia because she was everything to me. She was perfect. I'm really upset that like none of the like after episode cute things that they did with the cast, none of them had her actress in them.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would
I'd
have
like to hear more about like
me too.
her process. what
yeah.
was it like?
Okay, so next up, Mia. How do we feel about Mia's storyline?
So, can Mia sing? Is the question.
Not this.
I just couldn't believe it.
It was like every other note I felt differently.
Like I just feel she didn't have to be a singer in my opinion. She didn't have to be a singer. I get that she wanted to like follow her dream. But did singing have to be her dream?
Yeah.
I didn't believe that.
And they never established like what's Mia's day job, because clearly she's not singing for money now, but she has the time to be going with her friend to this hotel for a week.
Yeah.
What does Mia do?
Mia needs to get a hobby that is not singing.
Yeah, I would love to see
Mia thriving in some other capacity would be great. Would be great. I love that nothing bad happened to her.
Yeah, well,
you love that.
Well, let's talk about this plot with the original pianist. Let's talk about Giuseppe.
Oh my god, I can't.
I was so happy to see him go.
Yeah, okay.
It was creepy AF.
Awful slimy man. But I will say, when she gave him, I don't know, whatever pills, I'm assuming Molly, I did feel genuinely bad. I was like, Mia, you might have killed this man.
That is
kind of unrealistic too. Maybe I believe like
they don't know that Viagra's blue.
Oh, I didn't know that either. But I was like, you're so desperate that you're gonna give him and like you have no idea. It just seemed unrealistic to me. I was like,
she asked no follow-up questions about which people he was gonna introduce her to. No follow-up questions before you just like on a whim decide, yeah, this is what I need to do for my career.
Yeah,
you didn't try a single second option. You just went straight to.
It was just so unrealistic, or she's just stupid. Like maybe she's just dumb.
Yeah,
maybe.
Because
and the whole thing is like because he works in a hotel, and that's great. That's great.
Is that your final destination? Mia?
Right.
Because you're right. Who does he know? Does he have an album?
Bigger.
And I think like after she's drugged him effectively, and she asks, she's like, "So who are these people you're gonna introduce me to?" He's like, "Huh? What people?" And then she's like, "The people you said you could introduce me to, so I can be a singer." And he's like, "Oh, let's not talk about that right now." He did not know anybody.
Yeah.
And she, oh my gosh, that I also thought it was crazy that like as soon as that man was taken away in the gurney, she was after his job, and she got it in the end. She got it.
Literally.
Everyone
Good
was talking
for
to that man
her.
like he could control whether or not he lost his life. Like she was like, "Don't die," and Valentina was like, "Think good thoughts. You have to come back."
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
But she took his job. Honestly, good for her. Um, but yeah, I maybe I'm too empathetic. I felt deeply sad for that man when he almost lost his life.
See,
Like,
I didn't feel that bad, but
okay, maybe I might need to get on what you're on, because like it was very difficult for me to watch him like suffer, play the piano clearly high and just
yeah.
like disheveled. That was hard for me. I was like, maybe I'm not as much of a hater as I think.
Yeah, you have to get to another level.
I have to level up. Yeah. That I was like, Mia, girl. It and the thing is, she could have walked a few steps further to ask Lucia her question.
I was thinking that.
She asked
Literally.
her 2 times, and Lucia said, "Huh? I can't hear you."
That's what was so unrealistic about it. I was like, I would have gone into the water. Like, you have to
Yes.
try harder.
We're talking about drugs. It's
Right.
not something where you ask a couple of times and then give it up.
It's fine, whatever. I'll just 50-50.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Gosh. But let me think. Yes. Okay, I do have a plot rewrite from Mia. So I don't know if you guys remember, but here's my suggestion. The second Mia appears on our screens wearing the outfit with the cut up crop top and Ugg boots,
Horrible.
and the layered like
Atrocious.
it was like a tulle skirt, an anvil falls on her head. That's my proposal. Or wait, better yet, a piano. That feels like thematically appropriate to her story, to her character. Honestly, or someone just like guns her down. I don't care.
I see nothing wrong.
There needs to be some narrative justice for that outfit because it was criminal.
Do you remember when Tanya and Greg were on the Vespa? They should have
Yes.
run her over.
Oh,
That outfit?
I would have loved that.
Yo.
That, like, it was bad. I was like, Lucia can't turn to her friend and say, we're gonna buy you something else.
Right.
We're gonna get you out of here.
The fashion girl, come on now. Come on.
And there was also, I think it was the same day she was wearing the aluminum foil dress.
Yeah.
My friend pointed this out. She only had one of her earrings was a giant starfish and the other was just a small hoop. And then in the morning, she put the giant starfish and the small hoop back in. Mia! Yeah.
We have to do better. We have to do better. Please.
But I'm happy for her. Hopefully with some of that 50K, Lucia can get her some better outfits. I don't know.
Literally.
But it seems like they're happy. You know, I'm really happy for them because if they had died, we would have had to riot. Because they were doing, and there was like one episode where Lucia was just sort of feeling down. She was like, the whore always gets punished in the end. I was like, this better not be foreshadowing.
I thought it was too. I thought it was
my girls.
They have to win.
Yeah. And I'm glad they did. But let's go on to Valentina, and we can also talk about like the hotel staff.
Okay.
I wanted more for Valentina. I feel like I loved her in every scene she was in. I just would have liked to see more.
I completely agree. For another woman that when the moment she walked in, I said, okay, you're one to watch.
Yes.
You're one to watch.
Yes.
Her in her power suit.
Oh, every day a different suit.
Every day.
Oh,
yelling at Rocco. She did.
Yes. Oh, the differential between how she talked to Rocco and how she talked to Isabella was everything to me. I was like, it doesn't matter what Rocco does. He's getting that work.
In the doghouse.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And then
okay. Something that I would rewrite for her is that I wish it was more apparent, like her sexuality a little bit earlier in the season.
Yes. Yeah.
And instead of being with Mia, I would have wanted to see her like with either another guest or somebody who's like this whole other character, because
Yes.
this season is all about sex or whatever. I would have loved to see like a middle-aged woman or a little bit an older woman having some sort of romance with Valentina, trying to get her groove back, something
Oh
along
yes.
those lines. I would have
Yes.
loved to see that.
Mhm.
Yes.
That's
Because I think there was something, I don't know why, what it is about Mia that made me feel this way. There was something that felt completely toothless about her being the one that Valentina like gets with.
It was too
Yeah.
convenient. I was like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. And I mean, here's the thing with, they were clearly like setting up her and Isabella. I was like, Valentina, you need to watch before you get reported. Like the same day Isabella tells a guest she likes the store, you go and get her a gift from that store.
Yeah.
It's let's dial it back a little.
Right.
But
right.
like the reveal that Isabella is engaged to Rocco, me, I wanted, okay, here's what I would have done. I would have put that reveal, like, I would have had them actually go to drinks and have Valentina maybe try to make a move, almost do something,
Oh,
and then we get the reveal. I think that it didn't heighten for me.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
we just kind of got cut off. We didn't get any payoff from that. We just kind of like, we're like, wow, that's her fiance, and that's like that man that you have been dogging out in front of her all this time.
for talking to her too much.
Yes, she was. It's crazy that Isabella didn't speak up sooner, because she was talking about like, oh, Rocco like makes you uncomfortable. He's like, men are aggressive. She
Yeah.
didn't say anything. She was like, no, that's my fiance.
Right.
I think it's a
Man.
bit odd that. I guess she did explain it by saying like, oh, we didn't want to let anybody know that we were dating, but now we're engaged, whatever. But yeah, I would have liked if to see like Valentina sweat and scramble a little bit if like they'd actually gone to drinks and she had maybe like made a move, and then Isabella was like, whoa, 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 that's not what I'm doing over here. Something.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess so. This couldn't have happened because Lucia was off with Albie finishing off her genius plot. But if it had been like Lucia and Mia, that could have been interesting too.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Because I just didn't understand like what Valentina's issue was with the working girls. Like there's at least 3 people in your hotel who are glad that they are here. I
Yeah.
don't know why she was trying to run them out. Yeah. Yeah, I get that she's very serious about like the 5-star hotel that she manages, but I don't think Lucia and Mia were in any case the worst thing for business at the White Lotus.
No, for real.
Yeah.
For real. And I would have liked to see her like let loose a little bit more.
Yeah, like she and Mia talked about going to like a gay club at some point. Why couldn't we have seen that?
Yeah.
Like if we were gonna keep it as close as possible to what actually did happen, I would have moved that up an episode and actually had us see like Valentina go out and meet someone. Totally agree. And I don't have her on the list, but let's talk about Isabella's character for a minute, because I kind of look for her a little bit. Like the grandfather, Valentina, does she not have any idea when everyone's like hitting on her? Like,
Right.
obsessed. She's just smiling.
There's nothing behind those eyes. Just a smile.
No thoughts, just vibes, literally.
Yes. You know, and maybe I love that for her. Maybe I love that for her.
Getting all the attention.
Yes. Honestly, as she should. All right. Anything else about the hotel staff? As opposed to season 1, I don't think we really had anyone other than like Valentina that we were focusing on from the staff. So I think that's all I had.
Yeah, and I agree with what you said, like to begin with. It would have been fun to see more hotel staff, just in general.
Yes.
Because that was a huge part of season 1. And it's interesting to see like the guests versus the staff, or how they intermingle.
There was no friction between her and any of the guests, except for maybe that one scene where Dom was like, let the working girls be put on my room.
Yeah.
That was like the only thing we saw that pointed to any kind of like conflict in that dimension. So yeah, I would have liked to see more of the working staff. But yeah, let's move on to Portia. We've talked about her a little bit already, but thoughts about Portia's storyline?
I'm sorry. After that car scene, like,
Yeah.
I think the build up to the last episode where her phone went missing, that was good. And I thought she was really gonna fight for herself. Like, where's my phone? Like, I need to get out of here. She had so many different opportunities, and like,
Yes.
I almost felt like the way it was just grossly mishandled. Like,
Yeah.
she should have run away. She had his phone, bro. Like, I can't.
She had every opportunity. And I think, I don't know if I would change that or not, because what I think it speaks to is how deeply pathetic Portia is.
Yeah,
and that is like the core of her character.
Yeah,
From
that's fair.
episode 1, when she's
Mhm.
crying on her all expenses paid vacation, to the last episode when she's going along with this man who has made you dine and dash, who stole your phone, who sex with his uncle. I don't know. Like, how did we get here, Portia? How did we get here?
And it's interesting seeing her and Tanya interact because they're both pathetic in such interesting ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel like, in a way, like, Portia is like if Tanya did not have money, which is so sad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That could have been her. And yeah, I was not vibing with Portia. There was
No.
nothing that came out of her mouth where I was like, yes.
not a single thing she said made any sense ever.
Nothing.
And Paris has something to say too. Let me see. She said something about Portia. She said, okay, her main note about Portia is that it would have been very satisfying if Portia was anything but herself. And I have to agree, like, the person that she was, it was just pure frustration.
Yeah.
Like, I saw a tweet that called her dreary, and I was like, that's the word, because
Ooh, that's
you're
good.
in Sicily. Your boss told you stay away from them. She didn't say stay in your room, but you could go see the city. No one in this season ever really ate off the grounds, which was also weird.
That's so funny.
Like, you could have gone and met someone, whatever Italian man you said you want to
actual
throw
Italian
you
man,
around.
and then you go for this random man from Essex who just
And then you stick to him like glue. Like,
Oof.
it seemed like she thought it was charming when he had to steal to get $2 whatever pasta or whatever they were eating. She was like, yeah, he almost got us arrested, and you still go together? What?
It's like, I don't actually know you. Like, why
No.
are you?
He told you duck behind a trash can, and you still continued to sleep with that man. You still let that man say to you, leave your door unlocked.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe I wouldn't change a thing.
Oh my
See?
god.
Maybe I wouldn't change a thing because she is exactly who she is.
Yeah.
And we all need someone to hate. And she is the person for me. She is the person.
Yeah.
She's the one girl on this show that I just can't get behind. Can't get behind her.
Yeah, I don't.
And that's okay. Because she had some good moments. She had some good lines.
Mm-hmm.
She had some good moments, but most of them were not great.
Yeah, I was just like infuriated by what seemed to be a desire to be treated poorly. It seemed like she was attracted to that in Jack. Whereas, like, I would be totally fine with her if her opposition to Albie was this whole nice guy thing, but it didn't seem like that was it. It seemed like it was that he wasn't moving as quickly as she would have liked, or he didn't. I don't know. Maybe it was a physical thing where, like, she preferred the way Jack looked. I don't know, but she never had the right reason for doing anything that she did. And then she is sick in the head too, because she wrapped that scarf around her baseball cap at the airport and went up to bother this man, Albie, that she told to have a nice life.
Literally.
Why would she say have a nice life?
Right.
But then they got each other's numbers after she heard dead bodies on a yacht and still said, hey, can I get your number?
Right.
Your boss is dead.
Ooh, her priorities are not in order.
No,
They're just
at
not.
all.
I said, when she got into that car with that man, I said, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing, bro? Like,
I thought that was it for her.
it's
There,
very
yes, I
true.
was like, is Jack gonna take her out? I don't know. She's lucky, I guess, because that didn't happen to her. But yeah, and also like, how did she and Albie not already have each other's numbers? Because I feel like there was a scene where Albie was like, "Oh, Portia said this," and I was like, that implies, I think, a text. Why didn't they have each other's numbers?
Mhm.
But I guess whatever. So yeah, I think I agree with you, Lindsay. I don't know if I would rewrite anything about Portia. She's kind of like, she puts like the point that she was there to make was made. Although I will say, maybe Mike White needs to get a couple of writers in the writers' room, because I don't know, his writing for Gen Z, the like younger characters, I don't know. I don't know if I'm completely satisfied with the
Yeah.
way that Portia and Albie were portrayed. I feel like Albie actually is like a pretty good
That was great.
like
I will
Gen Z
say.
man.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty good
Accurate.
look at what we're working with. Portia, I don't know if I know anyone. I'm assuming Portia is supposed to be like a newly graduated young person, like 22.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I don't know that I know many young people to act like
Nobody
her.
acts like that or dresses like that
Yeah,
at the same time.
yeah.
Like,
That's very true. How are you in Sicily in a sweater vest and you don't like, you're in Sicily in a sweater vest but you don't like non-binary people? That doesn't make any sense.
can we return to that topic? I completely must have missed this. What
Oh,
conversation
yeah.
was that?
It was the night, I think it was the night after she first met Jack.
Okay.
And she basically, Albie was like, should we go to your room? And she was like, no, I'm just tired, I'm gonna go to sleep. It's the next day. She was like, okay, I'm gonna really try and make it work with Albie. She's talking to Tanya and she's like, he's nice, he's smart, he's not non-binary. And I was like, what does that mean?
Seriously?
What? Yes.
That is just poor writing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Like, if he was trying to make a point about like, oh, Portia's not an ally, that we needed some more text there, because I'm not sure what we were supposed to glean from her saying he's not non-binary.
I think, was she trying to say like maybe like being non-binary adds like complication of some sort to relationship, and she just wants I don't know, because
Maybe.
It might be that. Another option is that, like, I think this is a theory people had, they were saying like Portia's character is so like disillusioned with like current like technology discourse. Maybe she thinks, maybe she's one of those people who thinks like, oh, everybody is non-binary these days, and she thinks like, oh, I found one who's not.
I would believe either one of those things.
Yeah.
Either one of those things I would believe.
Damn. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't catch that. That's so bad.
And like, they never bring it up again, because it's like, if you don't like non-binary people, you're about to go on this yacht with all these gay people.
Right, you can't just say that and have you can't not unpack that. Like,
yeah.
And
I mean, one of the reasons it doesn't get unpacked is because she says it to Tanya, who immediately brings up her problems.
Yeah.
And doesn't acknowledge anything Portia says.
She did not hear that at all.
But let's talk about Jack. I feel like there's so much to say.
Jack.
He came in like in the middle of the season, but his impact was great.
Wow.
It was felt.
Yeah. I
think his introduction scene is so funny.
Yeah.
How he's getting in the pool and then he's like, my nips, my clothes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
feels the need to say to this woman he doesn't know that he has sensitive lips.
And the fact that that would draw her in.
That is what it is.
She immediately fell in the trap.
For me, personally, I would be like, what are you even saying?
50 feet. Like, give me 50 feet. Oh my god.
Back.
That's ick. That's icky. Ew. I don't need to know that about you.
Immediately know.
Don't even know your name, sir.
And like I know the whole like accent trope, like British accent, amazing, but he's from like, I'm not trying to drag it. Like,
right.
It wasn't believable. Like, is he supposed to be edgy? Like, I don't know if it's a misophonia thing. I could not stand the way he died. Like, it was flesh.
I also want to know, like, Is it an Essex thing? Why did he call everybody geezer?
Yeah.
Maybe
that
it
was-
is an Essex thing. I have no idea.
Okay. Yeah, I think he was disgusting. Like she had so many opportunities to be like, maybe I shouldn't go with this man. Like when he said he changed his underwear to sexy
Mhm.
underwear and then he would model it for her later. She pushed back against that at first. She was like, we'll see about that, which like, okay, good. But
Mhm.
from there on out, he made all of these comments like assuming she would just go along and take it. And she did.
She did. She did.
And like,
so
I don't know.
malleable.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about his character because like on one hand, I think like he's another character that's like making a point about class, like assuming he's not actually Quentin's nephew, or even if he actually is, which would be gross, but like he's I think supposed to represent someone who doesn't have a ton of money.
Mhm.
And yeah, like I sympathize with him in that way, like he's doing what he's supposed to do to get his money, but like did you have to treat Portia like that along the way? I don't know. So part of me feels for him, another part of me would rewrite it so that Jack was on the boat when Tanya was shooting it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wanted that
I
so badly.
Yeah.
I feel like he needed to die.
He needed to die, bro.
It was
No, for
too
real.
much. It was too much.
Because like he is complicit in all of this. He
Yeah.
really is. It was his
Yeah.
he had to get her out so that they
Yes,
could
exactly.
her.
He had explicit instructions. I mean, I guess the only thing I can say, he let Portia live, which I guess
She was so useless, though. Was there any
Yeah.
moment?
that's the thing. Even if he wasn't
He
there,
didn't need to.
Portia probably wasn't gonna do anything.
was so
That's
useless.
fair. That's fair.
Like, was there any part of you guys who thought like that she would attempt to go back and help, or did you know she
No.
would go back home? No. Yeah.
Because she the whole time, like from beginning to end, she was helpless. She was calling her friend who's not there to tell her, yeah, I'm on this all expenses paid trip and my boss just told me to stay in my room, and like talking about how like, yes, I would like to meet a hot Italian guy, but you're just sitting there crying when you're in Sicily. From
Yeah.
beginning to end, she was completely helpless. She had no problem solving skills to speak of. She knew Jack had her phone, but she still didn't get it back
Right.
until he tossed it out the window, which he was so
Right.
rude.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. She was not going to do anything.
Yeah.
She was not going
And
to do
like,
anything.
if she had, I feel like it would have solely been to protect her paycheck, but I guess she didn't really like the job that much, so maybe it didn't matter to her.
Yeah, she was not really into being her assistant in the first place. She was
No,
waiting
no,
for her to
ma'am.
go.
Mhm.
I feel like she's benefiting from this.
Right. And yeah, I feel like she'll just like unceremoniously go get a new job, but I am curious to see like what the distribution of Tanya's wealth will look like. Like, will Greg get all the money? I don't know.
Oh my God, I have a lot to say about that when we get to him. When we
Yeah.
get to him.
Well, we can. Does anyone else have anything to say about Jack? I don't know.
One thing about Portia, I remember in the beginning when Greg was so vehemently against Portia
Mhm.
being around. Now that we see like why he would like, that doesn't make sense to me how angry he got. At first, I
Yeah.
thought like there was a secret relationship between him and Portia or something, or they had
Oh.
like a history or something. Because
Interesting.
I just felt like the anger was out of proportion. Like he didn't enjoy spending time with what's it called? Sorry, Tanya anyway.
Yeah.
And I'm
He
like,
was giving himself away for sure.
and maybe it's because he wanted to like pretend like he wanted this to be like a good vacation between just him and like,
Mhm.
but it was, to me, when I look back, I was like, he was disproportionately upset that she was there.
He didn't want any witnesses, is my theory. And
Okay.
and so he was
Okay,
like,
yeah.
you've brought another person who could
I see.
establish that it was you and me, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, little does he know, Portia wouldn't have done anything.
She's
Portia
not
would
paying
not have
attention.
foiled your plan. Yeah, she is not paying attention to anyone but herself.
That's probably why they had to recruit Jack and be like, okay, like new plan.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Had him working double duty.
Wow.
I'm so
I
sorry.
hope that was reflected in his pay.
Right.
Moving on.
Who's out here?
Let's talk about the gays. I just want to say he didn't do too much, but I was living for Mateo. He was everything to me while we had him.
I'm crying.
Yeah. Who was the main one? Quentin?
Quentin, yeah.
Yes. That as soon as he gave his monologue, I was like, the cowboy's Greg.
No
But, like,
way.
yes. But I was like, I guess we don't have enough information. Like maybe Tanya would have said something if she knew Greg was from Wyoming. Does Tanya not know where her husband
I
is
don't know.
from?
I don't think he does. I don't think she does.
Yeah, which like it's crazy. If you had known a little bit more about your spouse, maybe that would have. Well, no, that wouldn't have saved you. But like, because she saw the picture too.
Yeah.
And was like, oh, that looks just like.
I was like, girl, be quiet. Like, stop speaking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I did get a sneaking suspicion because of what Quentin had said about was it the Isola Bell? Was that island about the woman who got like pushed off? I was
think
like,
so.
are these gays going to sacrifice her?
And the answer-
And it wasn't for human sacrifice, it was for whatever Greg was offering, I assume. I don't think the plan gets like completely
Mhm.
teased apart, but yeah, I mean, at least they give her a good send off, She had fun before she went out.
They were really like giving her what she wanted.
Mhm.
Listening to her.
Yeah.
That's a way to go.
I feel like they were giving her too many hints though. Like they were like, "Oh, you're a tragic Italian opera, whatever character." I took her to see Madame Butterfly, where she dies in the end,
Yeah.
right?
No, literally, the gays can't like refuse.
You're blowing up your
They
own
can't
spot.
refuse a reveal. They
No.
love a reveal.
Yes. Yeah.
They just love revealing things. So, what I will say is like I couldn't really understand this motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, what
Yes.
is Greg offering? Is it
Right? I would have liked to hear the offer.
Yeah, is it Quentin is just like is so enamored with his first love that he would really
Commit murder?
murder?
I'm sorry, Greg is not it. He did not age correctly. Like,
and that was funny when Quentin was like, he did the unforgivable thing, which is to age. Which, as soon as he said that, I was like, he's gonna be sleeping with a nephew, isn't he?
No.
Oh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm confused. Like, is Greg offering him a cut, or is it just that like he's so in love with this straight man that he's gonna kill his wife for him in this very elaborate plot? Like the amount of planning alone couldn't be me.
He's getting a cut. There's no way.
It had to be that. It had to have been that.
Yeah, because now I mean he's lost his life.
Damn.
I'm glad Hugo got away though. I think.
Good for him. The one thing I would have, I'll propose as a rewrite is, okay, if we're talking about this motivation here, that maybe Greg actually isn't straight, maybe he's queer in some way, and that he's cheating on Tanya with him, at least one of the people he's cheating on Tanya with is Quentin, and it's somehow like showing his manipulative nature, and it's like we can be together,
right?
But I need you to do this for me. Like I can't be a part of it.
I see that.
I would have liked like a phone call or something where we hear Greg say that. Because what we got, I think was pretty indecipherable, except for maybe the one time he said like she's clueless as usual. That was like the only thing where we could get any indication other than him leaving their Sicily trip to go work in Denver. Yeah, I would have liked some more of the actual text to like clue us into what the arrangement was there. Yeah. And okay, so let's move on to Greg. I don't have too much to say, but he really pissed me off. Why was he talking about how many First of all, he said macaroons. Why was he talking about how many macarons she was eating? What does it matter, Greg?
Uncultured, horrible man.
Evil swine.
Yes.
Evil. I hate him so much.
She was that size when you met her. Why are you talking about what? I just didn't understand. And then when it made me so upset. She was like, "Look, I did only eat 3," and she found those 2, whatever. And he's like, "Okay, you had a whole panna cotta at dinner." I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, that's made me
just
to die."
evil man.
He is so evil.
Maybe you
That
should
was
act
so
like you like her leading up to her final days so she doesn't
No,
catch on.
literally.
Oh my
Mhm,
gosh.
mhm. No, he is just. I just. And why Greg? I just can't even. There's
That's the
nothing about
thing.
this man.
That's the thing. Like from the end of season 1, it's so clear that Tanya is just so desperate for any kind of validation.
Yes.
She just the first man that comes across her table, that's the one she chooses. And because of that man, she neglects every other promise she made. The promise she made to Belinda, like,
And the way they met was weird, right? He was like trying to get into his hotel room.
yeah, something
Something?
like that.
Yeah.
Do you think
And then-
that was planned, or he found out she was rich and then
Oh, that's interesting. If we have Greg as a follow-through character to the next season, which I don't see why we would, but I would like to learn more about how premeditated this was. Because I
Mhm.
believe it was an accident and he just like
Mhm.
stumbled upon someone who was like exorbitantly wealthy, saw that the prenup precluded him from getting any money unless she died, and then planned her murder. But that would be interesting if he was like he looked her up or something and was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go and marry this woman. Yeah, that would be crazy.
Cause like, wasn't he like sick?
Yes.
I don't
He
know.
was
Was he actually
terminally
sick though?
Yeah.
oh well, that's a good point. But he was terminally ill, and then they said something this season about Tanya finding doctors who were able to save his life.
Yes.
And then
And now he
Evil
can live.
man.
And he's married to Tanya.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
so, you know, that's the level of evil we're working with. I don't have anything else to say about Greg except that it might have felt a little bit more fulfilling if they hadn't made him just quite so awful this season. Yeah.
And it's just sad because he can't win. And it's sad
Right?
Right.
to Tanya go and knowing that like he's probably gonna get money. He's probably gonna get
Get all the
probably
money
gonna
because all
see
the
money.
other gays died.
Yes. Because who else is gonna be in her will? Not Portia.
Please.
Oh my god, that would be what if she that would be such a flex if she like changed the
She
will.
ended up with if she ended up with some of Tanya's money, you know? But that girl doesn't know how to do anything. It's not
Or
we're
like
not
if
at
she
risk
gave the
here.
will to Belinda,
Oof.
Oh,
That would've
that would
been-
actually if Belinda was in her will,
I would have
maybe I'd
rewritten
be a
that
little bit
stuff.
sadder about
Then it's okay that she's gone. Then-
right, then that's
you.
even better. Yeah, that man, ooh, criminal, awful. Let's
Evil.
let's
Literally
go
the
on to
worst.
Tanya. Do we have thoughts about what
Oh,
happened in Tanya's storyline?
poor Tanya.
Poor Tanya, indeed.
It's hard seeing her be so pathetic. It is so hard because you want like I didn't want to see her win because of the Belinda stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
However, because it's Jennifer Coolidge, I do
Mhm.
want to see her win.
That's my
Right.
sister.
Like I didn't want to see her lose that bad.
Yes, you don't want to see her lose that bad. Like she can get a little hurt,
Yes.
but
Like if she had been concussed.
sure.
I thought her eyes would open when she was sinking, but they did
Yeah.
not.
No.
No. Yeah, it's just hard seeing her so down bad for this man. And we need to have some self-worth, girl.
Because how have you gotten yourself in a situation where you have a husband, you're on a vacation in Sicily, and you're yelling at this man over spaghetti that you know he hates you? If you know he hates you, why haven't we been making some moves to get out of this situation?
Yeah. Because she's so lonely. She can't be by herself.
No.
she can't. She has to have Portia near her to take a nap.
Yes.
Like
it was so every time they did like a horror movie sting when she would like glare at Portia, I was cackling.
oh
That
my
was it was
God.
scary.
And it's like I liked the storyline with the gays in a way that's like, okay, here's some people that are they're kind of pathetic in their own way,
Yes.
but they have a
Yeah.
community
Uh-huh.
and they love her and they stand her, and I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
So she's finding people. She's finding her people. This is good for her.
Yeah.
Little did we all know,
No.
Yeah.
plotting on her life
Mhm.
Right.
from the jump, from the minute they saw her.
It
So
was just too convenient how they met with her and like
Right, because
mhm.
reeled her
let's
in.
let's talk about how so the way Quentin initiates their first conversation is by saying so chic, looking at her outfit. Do we think it was chic?
Hell no. She could have been wearing a trash bag and he would have said the same thing.
So chic.
Exactly.
He
So
had
chic.
he had a script and he was sticking to it.
I think Mateo was really living for her. I think Quentin was doing whatever he could to get like maybe like he was like, if I give her one compliment, she'll be ours.
That's fair. That's fair. It's completely fair.
That's what I think. That's what I think.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't have that much to say about her because I feel like she gave us the comedy beats we needed.
Yeah.
We really saw just how desperate of an individual she is, and we saw her fight her way through somehow, some way.
We were rooting for her.
She went on her own terms, and that's
did.
good for her. Yeah,
really
so
did.
R.I.P. Tanya. I will miss Jennifer Coolidge.
I will miss her.
I'm
As
like, they just could not afford her season 3. There's just no like
because the price has gone up since season 1.
right.
It's true.
I have to assume.
I think that like her like obviously she's iconic for several things like the bend and snap, but like these gays are trying to murder me like will forever lie
let me see if I can pull it up. Let me see if I can. And then he said, "I'm gay."
Are you with these gays? Are you with these gays?
I need to. Okay, I do have something pulled up. I don't know. I can't speak to the sound quality. Let me see if I can play it. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Yes, I do have it up. Okay, and I'm gonna share the video.
I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
All right,
That's iconic.
Yeah, it will never not be iconic. It will live in my brain rent free for the rest of my days. Let me know. Oh wait, you should be able to hear it, but let me know if you can't.
Okay.
Oh wait.
Oh, I can't hear anything.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I can't hear it either.
Let me see. There's a Zoom setting I'm not clicking.
Do you know these gays?
Share computer sound. Okay, let me rewind.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you know these gays? Do you know these gays? Gay? I know it sounds crazy, but my husband, he knows Quentin. He brought me to Sicily, and then he left so he could have an alibi.
This man doesn't know what she's saying.
And then these gays, they take me off to Palermo, and then they set me up with this guy who's in the mafia, and he's coming here, I think, to try to throw me off the boat. They're going to do Greg's dirty work for him because he's going to pay them with my money so they can decorate their houses or some shit.
Oh.
I may be paranoid, but I need you to drive me in the boat. Drive the boat to the shore. Please, these gays, they're trying to murder me. Mi capisci?
Sì.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Anch'io sono gay.
Oh.
The way her face falls.
You're gay.
Qua siamo tutti gay.
You're gay?
Sì. Tutti quanti siamo gay. Tutti. Tutti gay.
I can't.
It's too good.
She needs an Emmy,
Emmy.
Academy Award, whatever it is.
Get her things immediately.
That was incredible.
No, literally.
Incredible performance.
I'm obsessed. This has to be some of her best work.
Oh,
So I'm so happy she got to go out on like a high note. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go back to sharing my agenda here. But yeah, I think we can move on from Tanya. And who do we have after? We have the two couples, which I'm excited to talk about, because to me the two couples were, I think, the most interesting. I don't know, I was always interested to see like what their dynamic was going to be, what was going to happen. So
Agreed.
let's talk about them, because I also I get it, Mike White, we're trying to leave some mystery, but I actually need to know in explicit detail what happened when Ethan and Daphne went to that island. It changes a lot.
Yes.
I need to know.
I need to know immediately.
Yeah. Give us flashes. Give us like
something.
Something.
Something. The whole thing. Give us
Like,
the whole thing unedited.
no,
Yeah. And here's the thing. I get he was saying like maybe they had a dalliance on the island, da, da, da. Up to that point, those two characters, Daphne and Ethan, I felt no romantic or sexual chemistry between them. So I in my heart of hearts have trouble believing they did like that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think they would have walked to that island and we would have got that like long shot of him walking behind her if something didn't happen. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like I don't know, I see it maybe for Daphne, because Megan Fahey, that is an actress. All the different emotions that crossed her face in that like silent 30 seconds after Ethan said maybe something happened, and you know it's not because of Cameron. She knows he, you know, does what he does, but I think it's because she was hurt behind what Harper did. And then immediately she's like, okay, well, we have to do what we have to do to make ourselves feel better about it. I think I see that for Daphne, but I just didn't feel enough chemistry to me that made it feel like Ethan would go and do that. I know he was tortured by these visions of his wife
literally
having sex with Cameron, but I don't know if he would take it that far.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if it was me making the show, I would have shown exactly what happened.
Show me everything.
Yes, between Daphne and Ethan.
I agree.
Oh, go ahead, Lindsey.
Oh, I was just gonna say that like I am a Daphne apologist. I think she's the realist bitch.
That is my sister.
Okay, speak on that, because I like enjoyed her. But like between the like not reading the news or whatever, not voting stuff that they said, and the slight misogynist comments she would make, I was a bit tired. But I appreciate that she's like doesn't want to be a victim, but at the same time, you can say you're not a victim and still be one. And that's, I fear.
Oh yeah.
I fear that's where my sister may be.
That's the word. Because you know what? She is in her own little reality. And that reality for her is so sweet.
She's living. She's having a great time.
She is living her best life.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny seeing her and Harper and how she is so delusional. She is just living in delusion and is so happy, and is
so much so that Harper does not know what she's talking about. Like Harper did not pick up on it at all when Daphne showed her the picture of her children after describing her blonde haired blue-eyed trainer.
Oh my god,
we were all gagged over that.
Remember that scene where they were on FaceTime with the kids and Cameron was brushing his teeth and he wouldn't go to the phone because he knows those are not his children. He said those are not my kids.
I can't tell if I think he's intelligent enough to pick up on it, or if
that's true,
or if he just doesn't like the kids regardless of whether he thinks they're his.
Correct. That could always be an option. I'm
deciding how I feel. But yeah, I can see the Daphne stands. I can see why. Because she Like nothing, she is not letting anything bring her down. She's gonna have a good time regardless.
Nothing penetrates, you
No,
know?
nothing.
And I just wish I could be that delusional sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be freeing.
Yes. Oh, for sure. I want to propose a rewrite for Cameron. So here's
Okay.
when he couldn't pay Lucia the full amount, I thought they were gonna do a thing where it's like, oh, he's broke actually.
Me too.
And that's why he
Yeah.
why he needs Ethan to invest with him. Because
Yes.
he's out of money. I wanted that to be like a big moment, but it just ended up being that like, okay, he ended up actually paying Lucia and that never became anything.
Mhm.
So,
And I think that like if they would have touched on like he's broke or something, he lost his money, he was playing, he was trading stocks, and he didn't do it.
right.
How he and Ethan have this weird alpha beta
Yes.
homoerotic at
Right.
times.
Thank you.
Very.
Thank you.
This weird dynamic between them, and how if he had to go ask for help from him, how Ethan would be like, "Oh, I'm the alpha now."
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
I
that
would have
would
liked to
change
see
things.
it.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see it. And I feel like it really like we didn't utilize all the dynamics we had there by not doing something like that, because that shift, I would have liked to see it, but they still did it in a way where Cam retained his power sometimes. Somehow he was like, you should have told me that you were gonna make all this money and you should come invest with me because I make people money.
Yeah.
It still was a situation where Cam had the power and not there was no flip there, which I would have wanted to see. I would have liked to see him knock down a peg, although, you know, at the end of the day, I guess I'm glad Lucia got her money.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to be a plot point that he was broke, and I wanted a deeper dive into his evil finance bro circle, because
Yes.
the only thing we heard about that was at Noto for a couple of like seconds. She was just like, oh, it's a dark triad or whatever she
Yeah.
said.
That was weird.
Yeah. And speaking of the homoeroticism, I thought they were there to swing. I thought Cameron and Daphne,
Yeah.
like I thought it, because what other reason would they have to be so upset when Harper said, why would we join our rooms? They looked
Right.
offended. So I thought they were there to swing.
Wait, that's true. That's so true.
Like,
So, you know.
Also, okay, what do you guys think that like with the door latched and everything, like other stuff went down, because there was that time that wasn't allotted for
Between Harper and Cam,
and the visions that Ethan was having, they looked quite realistic. And
you know,
I think that was the point, but also I'm like, like, would Harper lie?
I think it was very obvious that she was lying to Ethan, but I do believe her that they just kissed. I want to believe my girl would not go so low.
Yeah.
Because Cameron, that is an awful man.
Yeah.
She was attracted to him because he, at the dinner table or whatever, they were dining together at some point, he grazed her leg with his hand and she didn't remove it. Not that he is at fault. He should not have done that. But like, I would have expected her to be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, was it like she was just craving passion from anybody and like was accepting this form of contact because she was lacking it in her own relationship? Or was she attracted to this specific man?
I think she did like bat his hand away, but she did it very gently, and it was after a long time. I was like, she's not, I wonder if maybe she didn't blow up his spot because she like this whole time she's been trying so hard not to be the problem. So maybe that's why she didn't say anything. But yeah, I was like, oh, she's letting him like
really
caress her for a while.
Yeah.
But also when she brought up when Cameron literally undressed in front of her, which is completely inappropriate. Ethan gaslit her and it was like, he just,
let's get into it. He said, that doesn't seem that weird. He's just changing.
And now he wants to be upset having these visions.
Right. But then when the tables turn, and he really does believe that Cameron is interested in his wife, that's when he wants to actually think like something more sinister could be happening. And that's where I was like, maybe Ethan is not a good man because you did lie. You did gaslight your wife. And but now that you think she might have done about equal to what he did, because he did kiss Mia. Now he's
did.
upset. Now
No,
he's having
it's true.
fist fights in the ocean, in the Ionian Sea, which was never addressed. They
I
just
was
went
like,
to
where are the
dinner.
dead bodies? Like,
No, and I was so pissed at him after he finally said something. After Harper confronted him with the condom,
Yes.
whatever. Finally said something. He was like, "You should be happy."
said, oh, where's Ashton Kutcher? I thought I was being punked. I was like,
Punked.
you want to be congratulated for doing the
Yes.
bare minimum?
Yeah. And honestly,
Literally the bare minimum.
she gave him 3 chances
I
on
was
some Peter the Apostle stuff.
No,
And
literally
he lied every
literally.
time.
And the gaslighting, he was essentially like, you shouldn't be that upset because at the end of the day, like I
Right.
didn't hook up with these.
I just watched my friend do it, whose wife is
Yeah.
also on this trip with us.
and that's totally fine.
Literally, like he waited for her to be away to do all these things that he doesn't do when she's around, the drugs, the partying, whatever. And that's
Mhm.
fine if you want to do that. Like, be honest, be fucking for real. Like,
Yes.
just say what you did with your child.
For real.
And that's like, that broke my heart that like all Harper ever did was wear the best outfits of the season and be
Mhm.
exactly right about everything that was going on. And she
Right.
was punished first by her husband saying like she was like doing too much, she was making things awkward, she was being judgmental. All of her judgments were right. But then by having to be tortured by the thought that her husband cheated and still like never really getting clarity on that.
True.
Because like, how do you trust him after he spent the whole day telling you nothing happened, and then he's like, "Oh well, actually, we did do Molly with some prostitutes."
Yeah. He was like, oh yeah, that. Anyway.
And
Oh,
I was
forgot about
honestly,
that.
I was like, Ethan, we could have stopped at Molly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and I like that part when she was like, "You're not attracted to me." I was like, "Oh, wow, she's being so
That-
vulnerable." Like,
Yes.
whoo.
And that was like the hardest thing for me to watch was like all of the times she went to her husband trying like making such an effort to be intimate, and he for whatever reason is not explained, is not interested. I wish we had more insight into why that was,
Yeah.
because it made no sense. That is a gorgeous woman, you're married to her, she's willing.
In Italy?
What's the
Come
story?
on.
Yeah.
Come on.
And like
What's-
she also there was one morning where she was like, "Okay, like, do you want to like?" Because I think
Yes.
when she entered the room and he was watching, his little video, she was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
whatever. Like, let me like make myself available at a time that's convenient for you." And he
Mhm.
still was like, "No."
No.
I got so mad. I was like, "Bro, like."
I don't like, and I would have been interested, like, was there an element of like some asexual spectrum going on, because that could have been a conversation.
Mhm.
But we get no insight into why he doesn't want to love his beautiful wife.
Right.
We get no explanation, because
And
like
it makes no
said,
sense.
"Oh, I'm more of a morning sex guy." She woke
Yeah.
up early and put on the lingerie,
Literally.
and you just walked right on by.
Nah, he was like, "Anyway."
I was so mad.
It pissed me off.
And it's just, it makes it worse because it's like, okay, yes, he didn't go all the way with the Mia, but he still kissed her. Like,
Right, he was kissing her back for a second.
there was some passion there,
Absolutely
and
was.
no passion between him and his wife. And it's like, are they like in a rut or something? It just seemed very one-sided. Like, that's why I think something happened between him and Daphne. Like, there had to have been something
That's like the only
significant.
Yeah.
explanation.
It had to. Something
The
had to
passion
happen.
that they had when they finally,
Mm-hmm.
what
And
what could
here's-
have possibly changed?
Exactly. And here's where I have a proposal for a rewrite, because I feel like it makes very little sense to me that he would go off and do something with Daphne. Here's what I'm thinking. What if Ethan and Harper went over the edge and they killed Cameron with their bare hands, and that reignites the spark of their sexual relationship?
I love it. I love it.
Because
Is this before or after you meet Albie and change his life?
I think that's after.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
like I said, the implication that Ethan and Daphne cheated together does not compel me whatsoever. I didn't feel any of that type of chemistry between them. I feel like
None.
But I feel like if like Harper and Ethan got like down in the mud and they were like, we're pulling this man limb from limb, maybe that would have brought them closer together. Yes.
Listen, you're making points. You're making points.
Thank you. Yeah.
See, what I thought was
go
like,
ahead.
what I thought when they bring the dead body up in the first couple minutes of the first episode, right?
Mhm.
I'm thinking throughout the whole season, who do I want this to be? Who should die?
Yeah.
And it was giving Cameron.
The whole time.
All that man was done for.
All the way through.
And then I was like, maybe Ethan too. Maybe they kind of go at it and they kill each other. I don't even know.
When they were in the water, I was like, they're both gonna die. Like, they are the dead bodies. And then nothing.
And then nothing. And then they go home.
Yeah. They just eat dinner together, give their wives kisses on the forehead.
So weird. So weird.
And here, I don't know. Yeah, I want their Ethan and Harper's sexual spark to come back. Like I said, I would do it differently. But the way that it is written now, what do you guys think? Was them breaking the statue in the room supposed to mean that cheating isn't so bad? Like, is that what we're supposed to get? Because and Paris mentioned this in her notes too, that like Harper's relationship turns into the very thing that she despised about Cam and Daphne's.
Yeah,
that's true.
I guess I don't think the message is it's okay.
Yeah, like
I guess it just is.
I mean, it's what it's giving me is like infidelity spices things up,
right?
And I don't, unless you're like you have an open situation, which is different. Mm-hmm. I just can't abide by that. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, Mike,
what are we doing?
I don't know if that's the message.
Interesting that the prospect of so I go back and forth this because like I really do feel like Ethan and Cameron were frenemies and like more so enemies. And like Ethan, he went on this tirade about like you always go after people like I'm into basically.
Yes. And when that happened, I was like, not only is Cam this season's Shane, he's this season's Olivia.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, was he jealous that like Harper in general, like there was infidelity, or if that was specifically with this person? And I think it was like specifically with Cameron, obviously. And then I'm like, is the jealousy what reignited is the prospect of losing your partner to somebody you despise? It's like the renewal of passion that is like, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Right. Like that the way that we improve our relationship is based in fear or dishonesty.
Right.
Yeah.
White.
I don't know about that one.
Like if I had my way, Harper, I don't know, whatever Harper wanted, she would have gotten, because she was right about everything.
From day one.
It was giving like, I didn't want you before, but I want you now because this guy that I hate wants you. And I don't like that narrative.
Yeah. And okay, here's another opportunity for rewrite. Like I said, I can't really stand the way that it ended. Actually, I'll say this. The sex scene between Ethan and Harper, whoa, that looked like it was a spiritual experience.
Fiery passion.
Yeah,
that was the best one of the whole season.
That was so
easily. However, I cannot stand the ending because, like I said, Harper was right about everything, and if there was gonna be any cheating, it needed to be the gay ways, okay? Because it could have also been the foursome, the swinging, like I said. That still could have been some message about being open to the unexpected without implying that cheating on your spouse is inevitable.
Yeah.
Which I feel like was the implication.
Right.
Thoughts?
Agreed.
100% agree. I have no thoughts to add.
Yeah. Like, I don't care for the anti-judgment subtext because every judgment Harper made was correct. But it really seemed like the writing was interested in punishing her. But she was right. Those people were not good people.
The whole time. From day one, she was right.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
shouldn't have never gone.
No.
Protect
But
your peace. Protect your
Since they did go, she and Daphne should have at least kissed at Noto. They had more chemistry than Ethan and Daphne.
Okay,
I thought that's where it was going.
Yeah.
Something was brewing there, and now
Yes.
came to fruition. I was like,
Yeah, I wish, basically.
And we all know that Cam wanted Ethan.
Like,
it's
Just
very
all-
simple.
every opportunity. Oh, you're a handsome guy. I do ya. And then I have another clip to share, which actually made me drop my jaw. That this was written in for him to say.
Gosh.
Let me see. Okay, let me make sure that I have the audio shared.
This is 11 seconds.
I can't.
11 seconds that honestly changed everything.
Just want to be inside you.
No, thank you.
Please.
No, man.
I want to do stuff to you.
No.
I want to make you feel good.
Now, is that a relationship you have with someone who's
Oh, yeah,
just your
son of a
friend?
bitch.
Absolutely not.
Is that something
Your
you say to
college
just a
roommate.
friend?
Like,
I love you. I want to be inside.
if anybody ever, I
For
can't.
Mike White to make Cameron say all that and nothing ever happened between them.
Mm-mm.
What are we
He's
doing
dismissed.
here?
He's dismissed. Like,
Wow. Wow.
Something, I don't know how we can brainstorm how we would have made that happen, but something definitely should have happened between Cameron and Ethan.
even like in the water when they're fighting, if they just start kissing or something.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Like, y'all, there's some subtext in what he said. There's some, like, clearly there's some unresolved fiery passion between them.
Yes.
Like,
It's there. It's there.
that would have been so juicy.
Yes, I agree. Like, I would have
There
liked
was
to see it.
There was more chemistry between them than
Them with either
Yes.
of their wives.
Yeah. Yeah.
and especially not him and Daphne. Like,
Mm-mm.
that was just unbelievable.
And like, it felt like he took every opportunity to kiss Ethan on the cheek, call him baby,
Mhm.
and Ethan ate it up. Like, he was like, bro code, and then Cam was like, yeah, baby, bro code, and then Ethan was like, okay.
It's like, yeah.
Literally.
Hello.
Literally.
Yeah. I wanted more in that respect. I wish we had seen that.
No, we
'cause-
needed more. We needed more.
Yeah.
Because what was that about then?
Right. Like,
He's saying things like that. He's not
Right?
just saying it.
and I guess you could argue, it's just Cameron's whole thing of being like doing whatever gives him the power in a situation. Like, when he would have gotten a kick in his face when he went into the water and pulled Harper's foot, and he was like, I want you to like me.
Oh my god.
When
my
he got naked in front of her, he will do anything to get the power in a situation.
No,
Very
literally.
cool.
And
No.
for whatever reason, Ethan is receptive to that, wants his approval. I would have liked to see them take it in a romantic and/or sexual route.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It felt like wasted potential to me. Like, they set everything up to
Yeah.
lead there,
Yeah, they
and
did.
just nothing. It really fizzled out. The two couples storylines for me.
I know, I agree. It didn't there was so much build up and
Yeah,
nothing really
Right.
happened.
yeah.
And I'm like,
And
wait,
maybe
oh no, go ahead, Farah.
I was gonna say maybe that is a commentary in itself. Is like, now that these people have money, they're gonna stick with the people who have money, and we're not even gonna address this conflict.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I even see that, like, see them being those kinds of people.
Hmm.
I don't know.
That's
What were you
real.
gonna say, Bianca?
I was just gonna say, like, is this just how Cam and Daphne's relationship is gonna be? Like, this
Like,
is
forever?
like, wow, that's horrible. Like,
Yeah.
Probably why she can't keep female friends on the real. It's probably not because, well, maybe they are gossiping about her, whatever. But my guess is that Cameron's also trying to get with them.
That is such a good
Ooh.
point.
Ooh.
And like she was
Yeah.
so broken because Harper, her now her best female
Bestie.
friend, is
Damn.
accused of the same.
No, that stings.
It does
It
sting.
does sting,
Yeah.
Harper. I don't know if I can stand beside you on that one.
No.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
if you did do it, girl. That's the one thing honestly, even if Harper did, I could see, well, personality wise, that's an absolute no for me, but I could see why you would, you know.
We're bending over backwards.
Right.
To make sure that Harper is right in every
Yeah.
situation. Yes, I am.
And she is in the right. She is.
Yeah. Like that one slow-mo scene where she's swinging her purse, the world stopped.
Right.
It did.
People died.
Mhm.
Like Aubrey Plaza Emmy
She is
win.
everything.
No,
She
is.
gave it to us. Yeah.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think that's all my rewrites, unless you guys have anything else that we might not have touched on. But I think that's everything I had.
This was so like cathartic because I felt like I had so much built up. Like
Yes.
I needed to unpack.
We had to.
As did I. And I still want to do some reading because
Yeah.
like the tested immoral, I'm still like, would it
That-
have been too on the nose for Cam to lose his head?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like that would have fit the plot, but let's so to close out, let's talk about our overall thoughts and then the potential of season 3. Overall thoughts on what we've seen this season.
I think that the show does keep getting better.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do feel like it fizzled out in the end for me.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of they were building up so well, and I was so hooked,
Mm-hmm.
and then the payoff wasn't there.
Yes.
Personally.
The only gratification I really got was from Lucia and Mia's storyline.
Yes, exactly.
I guess in the end, Valentina also kind of got something out of it, but also now she's gonna have to deal with the fallout from multiple bodies on the site.
Yeah.
But like everyone else's story was so, like you said, it fizzled out. I think that DeGrazzo, aside from the 2 older men not having much to do, I think that story accomplished what it was supposed to. Because then, like when there was no one waiting for them at whatever city they were looking for relatives in, and they actually got chased off with an artichoke. I feel like maybe that was a statement about how like they're expecting women to just be there waiting for them with open arms, regardless of what they do, and that's not the way things work. At least not anymore.
I'm
So
glad you brought that scene up because that was iconic.
Yeah, it really was.
Mhm.
Yeah. So looking towards season 3, Mike White did mention that in season 3 he wants to explore Eastern religion and spirituality and death.
He better get a consultant. I don't know what
absolutely.
Yes.
Because I heard that, I was like, Eastern religion, what commentary do you have to make about that?
Mike.
As he said like a humorous look at Eastern religion. Are you the one who
bored.
needs to be
He's bored.
like that must be. I feel like we're going backwards.
Right. The optics
Yeah.
are not giving.
We're gonna need some more writers.
At the minimum.
I'm
Because-
happy that they're deciding to add in more Asian characters, it seems, because there were none. Aside from, of course, our good friend. I keep forgetting his name.
Ethan.
And that's okay.
I'm so sorry. God bless
And that's
that.
okay.
He was like the only one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So let's see how he,
Right, but I assume most of the actual like Asian people are gonna be at staff. Because
of course.
they like to keep a good core white cast.
Mhm.
And
It's essential.
Yeah.
And it will have to deal with some sort of commentary on like white people going to East Asia.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have like a man who collects katanas.
Oh my god.
I'm excited to see it. Maybe I'm not as opposed to this. If he could like be in his bag if he makes commentary about white people fetishizing Asian
Yes.
cultures, but I
That'd be
fear if he's
interesting.
trying to make actual salient critiques of Eastern religions, we
Ah,
may be out of our depth.
right.
Like,
No.
No,
Because what do you have to say?
no,
Like-
literally.
what do you know?
I can't.
Yeah, I would feel like that would be going backwards back to Hawaii, because I don't remember too much about if they were trying to make any commentary on Hawaiian culture in that, but at least with the way it was filmed and produced, like in Hawaii, people had questions, me included. Me included. And obviously, like, the story with Kai, like, it was a tragic kind of story, even like realistic as it was. So I'm watching, I'm looking on curiously. I'm on the fence, we'll say.
Yes.
I feel like this could, if he's trying to be too messy, I feel like things could go south quick.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Maybe, I guess we'll see what it has to offer.
Yeah. I'm
We'll see
excited.
the cast.
Me too.
We'll see-
Yes.
see
That's the thing. I
part of
think
it.
this show doesn't really work if you don't have a compelling cast with good chemistry. Because
Agreed.
I liked season 2 leagues more than season 1, and I do think a lot of it was for the cast.
The cast. They ate.
Oh, down.
They surely did.
No,
They
no.
surely did.
Not a crumb left.
Not a
in
crumb
sight.
in sight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I don't know if they can recreate that magic, because it also looks like the season 2 cast really had fun outside of filming. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of pictures of them together. I think that's so fun and cute. And if they can replicate that for season 3, then maybe I'll eat my words. But we'll have to see.
We'll have to see. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the first episode of the Rewriters Room. I was so glad we did this. This was so much fun. And
This is awesome.
we'll have to do something like this in the future.
Sure.
And for everyone watching at home, thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. I don't know if you watched the little 2-minute things at the end of each episode, but Mike White said something about like what he wants to do for the next season. I don't think he said where, but he said something about like Eastern religion, so we can talk about that.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think it's gonna be in
it is.
Japan, Loki.
Oh, I read something that was like, I think White Lotus is gonna be in Japan,
Right.
so I think you could be right about that.
Interesting.
Which I'm like,
direction.
yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that. Mike,
Mr. White, is that your lane?
Yeah, let's,
Right,
I don't know.
We'll unpack that. We'll unpack that.
Share screen, but let me just share this one. Oh, I'm also trying to pull up the clip, Bianca, that you requested. I couldn't find any that have good audio quality though.
Oh, you're fine. I don't even know if there's much to say. I feel like this clip stands on its own. Like, it was just,
Yeah. You don't need any commentary. Let me see.
it was just so iconic. Like,
Yeah, that will live on for years to come. Although Tanya will not.
I know.
Oh.
We'll get into that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll talk.
Okay, did I forget any characters?
Literally, who is Bert?
I was literally
The grandfather.
Oh god, it's the way he was unnamed old white man to me.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Portia, Jack, the gays, Tanya, Daphne. I mean, do we need to talk about Greg? I don't.
Peppa Pig.